Hey there, I'm back with some great Easter projects to do with all of my fun little boxes and treat holders and lollipop holders, and you can see I just have a ton of different items here to show you. So I will briefly introduce each one. This is actually the mini coffee cup holder box, and I've altered this to become a little window box. Okay, and this is the lollipop holder. And you can see that you can put a lollipop in that, and I'll explain that one here in a jiffy. All right, this is the lip balm box, and this will actually hold a chapstick. And if you make your own chapstick, the die comes with a little label cutting die, so you can label over little chapsticks. Okay, and here we have the mini treat box, and this is if you just basically did them. Some have things in them here, some don't. The little add-on dies are little labels in different shapes, and then you can put little images on there. I just kind of wanted to show how they would come, and then you could add whatnot to it. I'll explain those in a little bit. And then here's one that I decorated and made a little bit more foo-foo. And as you can see, it has a Hershey's bar in it that I also wrapped, and I actually concealed the wrapper of the original Hershey's bar with some pink candy foil. So we'll touch on that. It does have a little tab here that we can tuck that in. All right, this is the Dove chocolate box, and it does come with layering dies to do the edges, and as well it comes with a little divider so that you can professionally divide out your little Dove chocolates in your box. And then this was shown earlier on the A2 box for cards video, and I decorated it up and put a window in it, and I was able to attach carrots, and I will tell you the trick of how I keep those from falling out as well. So we have a whole bunch of little items to show you. I'm going to start with this one. So this is the mini coffee cup holder, and all I did is I went ahead and cut off this flap right here. That would be the back. Well, you can see it here in the picture. It's the back of the box holder. And so by just cutting right along that score line and then tucking the tab in, I was able to create a little box, kind of a shadow box, and put different little pieces in there. So that's one idea of something you could do. You could also just go ahead and cover this with window plastic and fill it with treats and decorate the outside. So that's just another alternative. $40 is kind of spendy for a die, but if you can use it in a bunch of different ways, not just coffee cup related, then to me that makes it more worthwhile. And real quick, I do want to touch on the fact that it is larger than a standard plate for a Sizzix, and I'm not one to get out my regular or my long plate that came with mine to just change up dies. So here's your standard length of your plate here. And I wanted to show you, all you need to do is put some stencil tape or removable tape on the die. You would then tape it to your paper, and you would put it so, again, this is just the magnet plate. You would put it so that the end here starts through, and you would run it through and cut it, and then you would take it off, and the paper is going to be taped to the die, so it's not going to move. And then you're going to go ahead and just move it up a little ways and cut it the rest of the way. The paper won't shift because of the tape, and then you don't have to change out to the other plate in order to utilize that die. So it's a little bit faster, and if you don't have the bigger plate because you just have the smaller Big Shot, that's fine. You don't need it. So just wanted to let you know there is a regular video on how to cut and fold that box, and it does come with all the little layering dies and label dies and whatnot. Set that one aside. All right, next I'm going to tell you about the lip balm box, and I have that one over here. Here we go. All right, so the lip balm box is this die, and I apologize for that glare. I don't know what is going on with the sunshine today. Sorry about that. Maybe that'll help. Okay, so that is the lip balm box die, and it comes with layering dies and just a one-piece layering die that's bigger that fits here, which is what I used here. Just did single layers. Okay, and then I did add the mini bow die, and I'll show you that die here in a sec. And then as I showed, it does hold a standard chapstick. It doesn't hold lipstick. It's lip balm or chapstick. It's smaller. It's not a great big box. I like the little dainty ones. You could, of course, punch holes in this if you were selling lip balm so that you could slide them on a hanger, like a peg hook. And then you can also, this part is actually folded down. So as you can see here on the die, from this edge up is quite tall. So you could actually leave that up, and then you could stand a gift card up on there and it would sit on the top of it. And so just go ahead and follow the directions on the back here. There is a diagram and it shows you where to place the tape here, and then it shows you where to place the tape on the bottom edge here, so that when you fold it shut, it glues shut and you don't need anything else to hold the box in place. So that's the lip balm box. Now it does come with add-ons. You can add on the windows number 1 or the stitched windows. And what these will do is just cut a little opening right here in the front of your box, and then you could put candy in it instead of lip balm, or if you have your specialty label that you want to show through. If you do put window plastic there, it makes really great for candy, and you can always snip this off right here, and you have this teeny tiny little tube that you can do of candy as well. So that is the lip balm box die and the add-on windows for it. All right, let's jump to these little guys. Okay, so these have, let's see, this one has a Hershey's and it's uncovered. This one has mini Tic Tacs. You can actually fit 2 of these little packages in there. These are really great to give for little favors, and I will have a link to those. I am selling those on my website in packages of 25 so that you don't have to buy a big bulk, and my Walmart does not carry them. Actually, the 2 that were near me, that one is empty. Okay, and there's a little tuck tab. Now you could make this the front, and you could put a little piece over top of it to seal it shut if you wanted to, instead of having that tuck tab at the back. This one has a Hershey's in it. It does not hold the nuggets. It's just a little bit thinner, so it's more of a small treat instead of a big treat. So what this shows, all of these 4, these are the add-on labels that come with it, and I don't have mine in their packages because I just stuffed everything in one bag here. This is the die. Now you want to make sure this is going to be the top of your box, because this folds down as your flap, and this folds up and has the little tuck loop. So you want to make sure if you're using a one-directional paper that this is the top. Your flap will end up upside down though when you flip it. So I like to use omni or multi-directional paper so that I don't have to worry about that. And then in here we have, and I have a little baggie of extra pieces that I didn't coordinate. Let me just pull one out. Oh, and I kind of cheated. These are still taped together. So I stacked up my paper and I placed these end to end to end. That way they would all stay still. And I cut them all one after the other. So let me just pull out the circle one here. And I like to do things sometimes that are quicker and faster, so more production, and I couldn't see untaping them. So in your little package, you will get, for the add-ons for the mini treat holder box, you will get the little label bar and the little round die that goes with that. So you can see them sitting on that white background there. Each one of these is a different set that you can purchase, and then you always do get 20% off if you buy the combo, which is the base die and the little add-ons all together. So if you buy it as a grouping, you're going to save 20%. Okay, I'm going to stick these in here, and I'm going to show you the front of the package again so that you'll recognize it on the website. It looks like that. Okay, and then I'm going to show you how to assemble one. Let me stick these little guys back in there. Now I do keep all of my dies in the original packaging, and part of that is because I demonstrate, but I do keep them looped together on shower curtain hooks in my bin. That way I can pull out what goes together. If you do that as well and you start running out of sticky, just put a piece of double stick tape on here and then you can still keep your package sealed shut. So I'm just going to show you. I have one cut here out of a multi-directional Easter paper. This is from my Easter Pack 1. There's Easter Pack 1, which has larger eggs and larger flowers in the papers, and the plaids are a bit larger. And then there's Easter Pack 2, which has the smaller ones. So sometimes you want smaller cards. So I cut it with the top up, and then my little tuck tab is here, and I kind of bend that so my tuck tab is out. Okay, and then you're going to put a piece of your tape along here, and then I put a piece of tape along here. Now, the papered chef, rather, Kimberly does it where she does these out of double-sided paper, and she just flips it over without any tape or anything, and then she puts an element, a butterfly, something over the top of here to seal it shut, and then it just drops open all the way. I prefer to do it where they are a little box and you pour the thing out of the box. So if you're going to do that the way I do it, you're going to put tape here, and I've already used my bone folder to burnish that tape down. Let me pull it up where I can see it though to get the backing off. This tape can be a booger for me. All right, and I use my pokey tool. And I hate to go off camera, I'm sorry, but I need to go get some new glasses. I can't see very good unless I'm really close up these days. All right, there we go. So they're both peeled. My roly-poly tool here. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take the one with the tape and you're going to lay it down flat. And you're going to take this, and there's a double bend in here. So that makes the box. So you're going to lay this one all the way flat, and then you're going to fold this one on the long tab. So you don't want to fold right up against, you want to fold it farther out, and you press that down on top of that, and it will perfectly align that. See how you can flip it either way and it's nice and flush and flat? That aligns it for you so you don't have to think. Then you're going to take this and you're going to stretch it up, and you can feel with your fingers that you have this tab aligned to the sides of the box, and just rotate that down and press it down. And then if you'd like, stick your bone folder in there, burnish that down. Okay, that does kind of squish that little tabby that we popped up, but I just used my pokey tool to get under it, and I'm not taping here, so that gives it a little bit of a flex. So now we have that, so that you could just tuck it in that way. And really, these will just make really cute little gifts and little treats like it is, little party favors. Here I did go ahead and wrap one of the chocolates in the matching little plaid paper, and this is 2.5 by 3 to cover your candy bar, and then it just slides down in there. Slide that down on it. If I wanted to, I could put a little saying or little words here, Happy Easter, whatnot, or I could stick a little something, and I would stick it to this little bumped up tab or up here. That way you don't have to tear that element when you open the box. So that is the mini treat holder box. And real quick, here's one that I really did up. So I just did it out of white linen, and then I sponged ink here, blue for the sky, green for the grass. These are egg dies, my grass tops die, the grass border die, and this is quite the little treat box here. And what I did, if you have a Michael's or a Joann's, somebody that has a Wilton or candy aisle, you can actually get the aluminum foil candy wrappers in colors. So I just put this right over top of the Hershey's chocolate. Now it does make it a little bit fatter, and the box is pretty tight to the object so that you're putting it at the candy bar. So you might want to make sure if you're doing that you trim off any excess. Maybe don't wrap it if you're coloring it, but you can see it does fit in there. You just kind of got to shake it a little to get it started to come out. So that was my all-out, really decorative one that I would give to somebody really special. And the rest of the time I would do these. Now these don't have word stamps or picture stamps yet, but they do actually fit the mini holiday dies number 3 on the little ovals and the squares and the circles. So be looking for some stamps and additional add-ons coming for these. And there's also the heart and the square. Okay, so we've covered those. All right, now I'm going to show you the lollipop holder. So this is another one that I just duded all up, and I want you to notice that the lollipop doesn't move at all. So I want to show you how you can make your own glue dots with a product that I have formulated for me. There are other ones out in the market, but this one I had specially formulated, and it's super, super sticky. It's called SuperTack. And it is super sticky. It has a myriad of uses, but one of them that I'll show you in here is that it has the ability to make its own glue spots or sticky spots. We're going to stay away from the word that everybody knows because they're very similar, but I don't want to get in trouble for copyright or trademark infringement. So can you see those little shiny dots on there? Those are sticky spots. And how you accomplish those, I'm going to get my little travel bottle. Now I'm currently out of stock on these, but they're on their way back. This is a little mini bottle for on the go, and I fill it from one of my bottles. We have the 1 ounce Try It and the 4 ounce I'm Addicted to This glue bottle. I also have the detail tip, which I do sell in its own little container with a rust-proof pin, and that sticks on the end. So hopefully you can see from that distance, but I'll hold it up. You're just going to make little spots. Okay, and you can hear that I'm rubbing the tip of the bottle right up against that paper. And now this isn't just any paper. You have a couple of options. Oops, I dripped the glue. Let me get a paper towel. I don't want that on my clothes because this is permanent on clothing. So if you wanted to put glitter or different things on your clothing, you can. All right, we'll just get that off of there. Okay, so can you see those little dots? Before I start doing lollipop holders or things that I want to hold with a glue dot, a sticky spot, I will make a sheet of these and I will put them away to dry. These are going to take a good 20 minutes to dry the way they are. So again, back to the paper. This, as you can see, is about the size of a shipping label, a 4x6 shipping label that I used to send out all of your all's orders. So what I do is I save these because this is a release paper or a glossy paper, and why throw away something that you get for free? So what you're going to want to do is make your dots of wet glue on half of it. Let them totally dry clear, so put them up somewhere where the cat doesn't walk through it. And then you're going to fold them over and you're going to stick it shut, put a lid on it. These will stay sticky forever. The glue doesn't actually dry, it solidifies. And so what happens is you have a super sticky little dot here that never loses its stickiness. I have so many purposes for this, and I really will, I promise, get some videos out for it. But let me show you real quickly the Lollipop holder die. Set this out of the way. All right, or dies, I should say, and stamps. All right, so you remember what I said? I hold things together with shower curtain rings. I actually have a bar across the top of my work area here. But if you have a pegboard with peg hooks, you can do it. And I hook this up for my whole collection of what goes together. And I always have everything I need right with it, right there. I put everything back in the bags, back in the baggie, back in the bag. I'm a little bit OCD, just slightly, which means I'm CDO, because if you put OCD in the proper alphabetical order, you would get CDO, and I am properly obsessive compulsive. All right, so we have the Lollipop holder die base. And I get asked all the time, what are these weird little dies in here? And I will show you. So this has been out. I was asked to make this die because it had been discontinued a long time ago by another company. And when I looked at it, I didn't care for it because the holes are always in these little holes that match the holder. They're always in the shape. They're always in the circle. They're always in the scalp circle. They're always in a little heart. I don't like that because then it always is what it always is. So I made my sets. There's 6 of each. These are all going to nest, stack, flip, flop, and coordinate to each other. And I'll show you one that actually has the circles on it. This isn't my best work. I was a little bit tired. I think I could pop out the colors a little bit more. It's a little monochromatic against the bright, but I think you'll probably forgive me there. So what these little pieces are here that come in here, and they're all in a bag in the back along with the little layer and the stitch layer. This is going to cut the matching holes to this inside any shape. So I should have had an extra one. I apologize. So in this circle back here, this scallop circle, I put the dots in there. And I didn't want them in this piece. And again, that goes to, I don't always want to have holes in everything. And everything with holes in it and the strings coming through it or the bows, it always looks like a button, and it always looks kind of country. So you can never really change the theme of it or how it looks. So I did not do that. And real quick, I wanted to mention I am sold out of this, but I will be getting it back in. I have 2 sets of Lollipop stamps that match. And I'm going to hop to some really adorable cards super quickly here that one of the designers that I work with, her name is Carrie Parrish. She made these 2 cards and this candy bag with one of my tag toppers. And you can see that she used some of the stamps out of here, and she used the circle dies. So when you're perusing the website and you're thinking, I don't really have any reason to give lollipops, Don't ignore the entire section because there are lots of things you can do with the stamps and the dies by themselves. It doesn't have to be a lollipop holder. Okay, back to the lollipop holder though. All right, so I've assembled the lollipop holder. I tied my ribbon in the back. I've layered it. Okay, now I have this Tootsie Roll Pop and it's wonky. Okay, it won't stay in there, but this one is staying put. Remember our little glue spots, some of which are already dry here? Well, we're going to take that Tootsie Roll Pop and we are going to just press it onto one of those spots, lift it off. You can't really see it. I can't really see it even from here. Then we're going to pull back on its stick and line it up in the middle and press it down. All right, so now no more wobble. It's nice and stuck. All right, well, I could have got him a little more straight probably. Oh well, it's off to the side. It's cute. All right, so that is the lollipop holder, and I use the egg dies, which I'll show you as well, to decorate that. And then this one has the chocolate bunny, and I use the white gel pen for his eye, and the grass tops, and the grass edger, and the little flowers out of the Easter set for the card in a box, which I also have to make you a sample of. All right, so let's go to the Dove box. That is this guy. I apologize for the dead screen there sometimes, but I just don't have a lot of room and I don't want to make a big mess I can't get through. All right, we have the Dove chocolate box die, and this one was actually requested by Mary Key. She's my friend from Illinois, Rockford. And it's funny because we found out we had known each other for a long, long time and didn't know it until we met in person. So this is going to give you the box, and I know there's a lot of little things in here that are hard for you to probably see or understand, but these are little layering dies, and there's a bunch of little layering dies in there. I doubt you're ever going to build a box where you use every single layering die, but there's space in here, and I wanted the options. And then down here you have your little strip that is your insert that keeps your chocolates from flopping around. See how it doesn't really rattle? It has the little finger tab. On the back, it tells you to glue A's to A and B's to B so that you don't put your lid upside down like I did the very first time I made one before I wrote the directions and memorized them myself. So I've decorated this one. Now this would be really cute if you had some printed, double-sided printed papers to decorate the inside as well. There's our Dove chocolates. And then this, I didn't glue down in there because I wanted to show you it. So you're going to score this. Well, it has the score lines. You're going to fold it on the score lines and bend it up. And you put a strip of tape on the inside of just one of each of those pieces and then pinch it together. Okay, and then that keeps it upright. This is going to tuck nice and firm into the bottom. As you can see, it doesn't fall out. So even without gluing or taping it in place, I think that if you're doing these for craft fairs, you really want to save your resources. You don't have to use tape all the time on every little place because that's going to drive up the cost of everything. So now we have the perfect little divider to give the little Dove chocolates, and the little box goes shut. You could maybe wrap that up with the ribbon around it, make it really cute. That is the Dove chocolate box dies. All right, then we have our A2 box for cards die, and I just did a video earlier today on that. You can find that in the playlist or in the additional videos there. Also, under the product on the website, I figured out how to make a little embedded YouTube video. I was having a hard time because it wanted to embed it super huge. So I figured out how to make it the way I want it. So this is a box that you can sell cards in, but you can also use it as a treat box. So I used the nested ovals and the stitch nested ovals, and I cut myself an opening in it. Now, this holds an A2 card plus envelope. What that means is that it is not exactly 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 when you are taking a card and putting it in there, because I matched it to the actual envelope. The envelope is more wonky. So if I were to use my A2 layering dies to decorate the outside of the box, probably what I would do is I would do a border across the top or across the bottom or cut them in the middle and space them out and put a permanent bow around the middle if I was going to use the A2 layering dies and the stitch dies to create multiple layers like this for the front of it. If you don't mind it being centered, you know, not having the same space all the way around it, that doesn't look too bad. I haven't tried it yet. You could just use the A2 layering dies and put them on there, and you know, you're even top to bottom, you're even left to right, so it would look fine. So those are additional dies I did not get out to show you, but I can show you some stuff with them. So you'll notice that my carrots don't fall out, and I bet you can guess what I used to prevent them from falling out. Yep, I used SuperTack. I made super sticky spots, and I put them on the back of those little carrots. These little carrots come in a little mesh bag from the Dollar Tree. There were, what was that, 3, 6, 9, 10? I think there were only 11 in my package because I have 2 left over, so I thought they were a dozen. But you only need 9 to fit in here with some space. You can put whatever you want to in it. I did hand measure and cut and do my layers based off the size of the box, stepping in by 8ths and 16ths. Here are our chocolate bunnies. We have our egg die with the little ruffle behind it. We have our grass tops, our grass edger, and you don't always have to use it exactly as it is. Just because it cuts one strip of grass edge doesn't mean that that's what you have to use. Just because it cuts the one grass top doesn't mean I have to use that whole grass top all the time. I can chop it up, move it over, chop it off over here, move it over. This also uses the tiny carrot dies. Can you see those little dudes? I didn't glue that in there, I just tucked it behind the grass. And this one over here, this rabbit is defending his carrot. He's looking at it and he's saying, don't I get some? And he's saying, no, that's my carrot. This is actually, this cloud is actually out of the tags #1 set. And then You're a 24 Karat Friend is a word out of a stamp set. And then you would need some transparency plastic or window plastic. And of course, all of the pattern papers come from the Easter pack. This is Easter pack 1. You can see the plaid is larger and the eggs are larger, and that's a good comparison there. You can see how small the little tiny print is for tinier objects and then larger print for larger objects. I did do a comparison on printing papers, and it turns out that if you paid $7 for a 6x6 paper pad from whatever company, the price per square inch, my printed papers come out pretty much the exact same price. They're like 0.006 cents difference, so not even a penny off. And the reason for that is that my papers are printed on 8.5 by 11 with an 8 by 10.5 usable area. And so you can make larger objects. You can get a whole center step or side step card out of it, and then you have all the scraps. And they are single-sided because I myself personally, I don't like having to choose between which pattern am I going to use. So I thought I would just show you the different dies so you'll recognize their packaging in the picture online. So that's the grass tops. Here's the grass edger. Something fun about the grass edger is you can step and repeat it down the length of a card. So you could even do a scrapbook page along the bottom. But you can use both sides of it. So this has one cut line, and then you can separate the paper and rotate it, and you have 2 different styles of grass or 2 different cuts of grass. One is reversed, and so you can layer them over top of each other, and that's the grass edger die. We have the egg dies #1, and that has a ruffly egg that goes behind the stitched one. And I don't know if you caught it here. This is one of the eggs out of the paper. And it actually does not match the die exactly, but because this has white space around it and because I put it on a white ruffly edge, that means you can't really tell, and it looks like that egg is cut out perfectly, but I used the die to do it. Sneaky, sneaky. All right, we have large and small chocolate bunnies. I need to do this, I forgot, but by the way, you can take eggs #1 here and this ruffle, and you could cut this out first, and you could put the ruffly edge like over his bottom or over his ear, like at an angle, and it would cut out like somebody took a chomp out of this chocolate bunny. So somebody didn't want to share, so they bit it first so that it would be theirs and theirs alone. All right, back to, we have the lip balm box die plus the windows 1 and 2. Again, anytime you buy things that go together in a combo, your first purchase, you're going to save 20%. So this combo is going to be 20% off versus buying this one and then coming back and buying this one and coming back and buying this one. So it saves 20%, and it saves you shipping when you order at once. The Dove chocolate box, that's just a whole bunch of stuff all by itself. The A2 box for cards perfectly fits those A2 cards. You can sell them, you can use it as a gift box, whatever. This is the mini treat holder box. Again, it'll hold the Tic Tac packs, it'll hold the Hershey's miniatures. I'm not sure what else it will hold because honestly I try not to buy candy and eat it. I don't need any help in the overloading the scale department. I went ahead and threw this one in just to show you that if you didn't want to buy the eggs #1, which are a little bit smaller, and the grass edger, and you just wanted to kind of save a little bit of money and get like things that are coordinated that you could still use in this manner, this is the egg carton card in a box. That's what CIB means, card in a box, #2 add-on. So I have a second card in a box. I have a tall one. This makes the wide one, or adds to the wide one rather. This has your egg 1 in it basically. This has basically a different grass edger in it, and then it has the flowers. These big flowers are all in one die so that you can lay that down and cut them all out at one time, and then you have 2 little single ones because sometimes you might want to cut a flower out of the egg. So you only want a single flower, you don't want a strip of them. So production die and then little decorator individual die. Okay, these are the ovals. We have nested ovals #1, stitched ovals #1. I do need to do a video on how the ovals work. You can find some information in the bunny card. Where did I stick you? I'll look for him here as I talk. The bunny, the Papa Top oval matches the oval dies, and that bunny just hopped right away. Well, you'll find it in my video links, the different videos there on YouTube. It's the Papa Top oval, and you'll recognize the goofy little rabbit on there. But what you do is you would cut your nested oval, just your straight line cut, and then you can select any one of the stitched dies to center within your die here, and you can get different stitch widths from there. The other thing is you might only want to just have a stitch. So if you look on here, I actually matched the opening that I cut in it, and then that's the green layer, and then I cut the opening and stitched with the bigger stitch die for the opening here. So again, I don't like to have dies that always are what they always are. That gets annoying. So they're 2 different sets because they can use multiple ways. So it's not just 2 different ways that they could be used, they can be used multiple different ways. And they also coordinate with the 24 karat Friends stamps and dies. And this is the Goofy Bunny that I'm talking about that will be on that card where I explain the ovals. You have a carrot circle, 2 little carrots, the bigger carrot, a medium carrot. Sometimes I like to build my own borders, so that's why I include in my little spaces, if I can, extra little elements. So we have a little carrot, a big carrot, a little carrot. We could actually stamp that like in a border, or just put a little and a big at different angles and then stamp and repeat it down the edge of somewhere. Here's the You're a 24 karat Friend words came out of that set. And then the matching dies. So what I'm going to start doing with my packaging, the carrot oval, it already matches the oval dies, and it's not in the set. So what I've done is I've just kind of lightened the color of the print here, and then I show you which dies you'll be getting in the set that match the stamp dies. So that's something new I'm doing for my packaging, make it a little bit more understandable. And it looks like we are down to the Lollipop die. So the Lollipop die comes with the matching dot makers, and I had room, so I did put 2 just in case you should drop one and you can't find it. Never fear, you have a second one there. And then it has a stitch layer and a straight layer. Now the stitch layer does not fit inside the straight layer. The stitch layer will only stitch the shape of the front of the Lollipop holder. So you can see here, without having to add another piece of paper, I can add a decorative element. That's why I did it, because it's not so much that you have to cut a layer and then stitch the layer. It was a stitch that matched the front, so you could just simply make the front a little bit more decorative without having to go through all that. And you can actually see the back. I went ahead and stitched it too. You can see the stitch lines are a little bit better there. And in the future, I might add some nested cut and stitch dies to go with this set. And then we have circle dies 1, stitch circle dies 1, and scallop circle dies 1. And like I said, these all cut and nest, you know, in and out of each other. You can put a stitch line The stitch ones cut and stitch. They don't just stitch. I did do those as one. And stair step them, and here you can't really see it, but she actually cut the inside out of the outside. So this purple is a ring and it's dipped down inside it. I love it. I didn't notice that element until Carrie sent it to me. But just a really great quality card that Carrie made for me using the dies. And on here, and we'll be doing a video on how to make treat toppers, and I have some new bags coming in that fit perfectly. Here's a scallop, here's a straight, and then all the die or the stamps match, and then they coordinate. So I can take my happy birthday ones and have my stamp that stamps the stitches in the outline, and it stamps little stars and another little stitch one, but I can also mix those stitches and straight lines with the hearts and the Happy Valentine's Day. So you can add to your collections. I say intend because, you know, life happens, but I intend to make more of these for other holidays, baby, Christmas, birth, you know, other birthday outside of just standard, maybe some old timers birthday. You're so old, I don't know if you have teeth to eat this cake kind of a thing. So that is a bunch of different craft fair, gift giving, make it, sell it, give it, keep it, whatever. Alrighty, so I hope you enjoyed my craziness, and I thank you so much for being a customer and for watching this video, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a happy Easter. Take care.